Hey, I'm Charting Man Dan, trader for the last 13 years, and in this video, we're going to check in on the charts and the markets. We've got big headlines. Michael Burry is short. Is that a big deal? We're going to look at NVDA, the dollar, as the bulls are attempting to set weekly higher lows, and the bears are going to do their best to stop them. It's a fairly important week, even though volume is low for the summer. So for those who don't know, Michael Burry is the guy from The Big Short, and he nailed it back then. And so everybody looks at what he's doing now, and he's definitely more bearish than bullish, far more often than not. And he hasn't really been right all the time. But anyways, everybody on Twitter is all about this new information, and they are blowing it up. He just went mega short. First off, he didn't just go short. We just got information that he went short as of June 30th. So sometime before June 30th, he entered put positions in SPY and QQQ. That means at a bare minimum, this is 6-week-old information. We also don't know what's his strike, what's his expiration. We have a tiny, tiny glimpse of information, and we're missing a ton of it. Another thing is, he did not go short for 90% plus of his portfolio. He bought some puts. He paid premium for those puts. If they get exercised, it would be 93% of his portfolio. Just like if I have $1 million and I grab $10,000 of puts in premium, I didn't just short my entire portfolio. So this is just me frustrated that social media is doing its thing, sensationalizing headlines for engagement and not giving accurate information. In the end, this has absolutely zero impact whatsoever on any decision that I ever make in the market, but it's good for the headlines. All right, S&P 500 and the NASDAQ bounced today, led by the semiconductors. Big day for NVDA. We'll look at that in just a moment. Is this our weekly higher low being set? Maybe. We don't have enough information yet. If it is, these are potential bull flags. And if these are bull flags, we're looking at all-time highs. So there's no red flags on weekly timeframes right now for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. My mindset was confirm the daily downtrend. All right, you've got my attention. That's the first time in 3 months. Next target, next visual guide for me was weekly EMA 12. Hold it, nothing to worry about whatsoever. We look for continuation. Lose it, big enough pullback to then shape up a potential weekly downtrend, to then shape up monthly consolidation. So that's what's on the table here. And with the current daily bounce, I'm just looking at the daily downtrend, which is our guide. And we had a bounce and a top out, and then another one and a top out, and the current bounce, anything under 45.29 on SPX 500 USD would just be a daily lower high. For SPY, we'll say anything under 451.70 is just a daily lower high. So again, just viewing this as a high and a low, a top, lower high, lower lows. It's a daily downtrend still at this point. And if the bulls can get over the daily lower highs, they then create the space for a daily trend change to try and take place to try and shape up the weekly higher low. So at this point, there's no red flags on the longer term charts, and the bears are going to do their best to try and shape up those red flags, but we would have to break the low of last week for that to happen. NASDAQ is the same thing. So looking at QQQ, anything under 374.36 is just a daily lower high. If we have another green day tomorrow, we'll be creating the space for the possible trend change attempt on the daily, and the weekly is right at EMA 12. And if you'll go back to end of April, one of the major things that had me go bullish into this summer was this weekly bull flag in SPY and QQQ that back tested and held EMA 12 support. SPY did it as well. That helped me go bullish for the summer. So if they stay with weekly EMA 12 into the fall, I'm going to stay bullish into the fall. If we lose it, that will shift. So that's what we're watching this week. Semiconductors, huge bullish engulfing candle. This is one of the biggest green days that the semiconductors have seen potentially this year, from the open to the close. Not including gaps, because some of the gaps have definitely been bigger. But it's among some of the biggest green candle days of the year. And if you look at NVDA, it pretty much is the biggest green candle from open to close. And this is bulls defending 400 psychological. weekly EMA, or I should say weekly higher low support, 401. We gap down today. We open at 403 or 404. Quick drop to 403. And then just absolute beast mode bull buying. They're still going at it after hours. We're up 0.6% after hours. Extremely impressive. Pretty much 10% from the low of today. And knowing the size of the market cap of this name and the dollar volume, that's extremely impressive. Is this a weekly higher low being set? Maybe, but the bulls will have to confirm the daily trend change whenever we top out. If I'm a bear, I want to see a gap up open on NVDA tomorrow to look short for hourly consolidation because we haven't confirmed the hourly trend change yet. If you're a bear, you want to gap up to aggressively short for hourly consolidation. If you're a bull, you're looking to buy the next hourly high or low because of how much space the bulls have to work with on that move. So extremely impressive for the semiconductors. And again, just mentally grouping the market. QQQ, big tech, semiconductors, growth names, AI, they're all on one side. And over here, we've got XLF, XLV, IWM, XLE, pretty much everything else. And today was a day, the bear market, QQQ and those groupings led the way down. The bottom to start this year, or to end last year, NASDAQ and these names led the way up. This consolidation, NASDAQ and these names have led the way down. And so if you're a bull, you want to see QQQ divided by SPY, set a higher low, and shift momentum. QQQ today was the strongest it has been compared to SPY in 2 weeks. And bulls want to see that continue. This grouping, QQQ and everybody that I just mentioned, leads in both directions. And so bulls want to see them lead the end of consolidation into continuation. It's just one day, but it's something to watch for. Tesla relative weakness, cutting prices in China. So headline, negative, and out of everything on my screen, all the QQQ names are green except for Tesla. So there's still relative weakness there. We lost the weekly uptrend. 240.70 was the weekly higher low. That's been lost. And so we now have space for a weekly lower high to be the result of the next bounce. Tesla can bounce 15% and set a weekly lower high. And the big question will be, do we confirm a weekly downtrend after the next bounce? And that's a big question because if it does, that's the first step towards a 4-month lower high. And I'm watching some of these major names to potentially give us long-term equilibriums that tighten up for a good bit of next year. So I'm watching Tesla for a long-term lower high. I'm watching Netflix for a long-term lower high. Netflix can trade within this range easily the majority of next year. So that's a setup that I'm watching for. And Netflix needs to confirm a weekly downtrend if that's going to be shaping up. If SPY and QQQ hold weekly EMA 12, bears aren't going anywhere in these names. Have to lose that as a requirement for any kind of bear follow through. Healthcare, still knocking on the door of all-time highs. So XLV, daily higher low set Friday. We're testing resistance of 136.53, 136.85, and after that, 140.06 is the all-time high. So still strong here, trying to confirm weekly uptrend continuation. And we have a daily and weekly uptrend in XLV. XLF, sideways, not a whole lot going on, but that is keeping the weekly consolidation healthy. Again, if weekly EMA 12 is support, it's very healthy longer-term consolidation. So there's no red flags. A non-event today for XLF, pretty much didn't participate. And considering, last 4 days, really nothing's going on. We closed at 34.82, 85, 92, 85. So pretty much 4 days of no information. IWM, weekly EMA 12 being tested. Bulls really want to form the weekly high or low here. If we lose weekly EMA 12, that opens the door for a possible weekly downtrend, which would be a triple top monthly rejection into a continued monthly tightening range, which is a year in the making at this point. So can bears follow through to have this sideways range continue? Have to lose weekly EMA 12 for that to be the case. Still a clear daily downtrend. Anything under 194.12, just a lower high. So daily downtrend is our guide and weekly uptrend is our guide on a lot of individual names. Growth names still fairly weak. ARKK has been in a pretty much a daily stair-step drop for 10 days. Not exactly by a couple pennies here, but pretty much a straight drop. Trying to get the bounce going. Lots of space for a daily lower high. And bears are going to be watching for a daily lower high to be the result of any bounce in ARKK. It just may take a few days to play out. But similar to that, AI names, so AI, daily bounce now underway, tons of space for a lower high. We can go 10% more the next 2 days and still easily be looking for a daily lower high. So bears are watching growth names for daily lower highs to be the result of this bounce. PLTR, same deal, daily bounce underway. Aggressive bulls getting a nice bounce. We held the low of Friday by 4 pennies, but tons of space for a daily lower high to be the result of the bounce. Crypto stocks, MARA much stronger than Riot. If I'm looking bearish in these names, I'm looking at Riot. If I'm looking bullish, I'm looking at MARA. And we double bottomed at 14.15 and 14.11 right off weekly EMA 12. Bulls would need to head back up towards 1642 resistance to try and shape up a weekly higher low. A lot of this is going to depend on the dollar. We'll get to the dollar in just a moment, but the dollar is a major factor for me this week as I'm scouting potential longs in crypto and metals and miners. I need to see dollar weakness. Chinese names, as I mentioned, I was stopped out when the daily uptrends were lost on BABA and YINN. And these names are still seeing weakness. Daily downtrend, FXI, lower lows, KWEB lower lows, Yin lower lows. Still going to watch for a weekly higher low on BABA, but bulls have lost their momentum when they lost the daily uptrend. BABA's going to try and hold the EMA 12 backtest. It would keep it healthy if it does. I'm not entering into weakness, but I'm watching for a BABA weekly higher low. But personally, a good bit less interested in these Chinese names than I was a month ago. NIO, however, similar to those growth names, they started their daily bounce. NIO is trying to get its daily bounce going with XPEV. That's something to watch for tomorrow. Essentially, laggard bulls to today's action that we saw in the market. But again, same thing. We're going to be watching for daily lower highs to be the result of that bounce, similar to AI, PLTR, ARKK. So the dollar is testing weekly resistance. And again, the last thing that you want to see if you are a crypto, metals, or stock market bull is for the dollar to shape up a 4-month higher low at EMA 12 support. We will have to confirm a weekly trend change for that to be confident. But if we get over this 103.57 resistance, that will increase the probabilities that a weekly higher low is going to form next consolidation to try for that trend change attempt. In the short term here, it looked a little bit like a blow off top today, just in the sense that we had a real strong morning and then we gave most of it back. But we have to confirm an hourly downtrend into tomorrow if that's going to be the case. If we confirm an hourly downtrend into tomorrow, watch for a 12-hour rising wedge, rejecting from weekly resistance. If we don't confirm a 12-hour downtrend, bulls keep full control. But this is something I'm watching for if I wake up tomorrow and the dollar has confirmed an hourly downtrend. But this has significant implications due to the inverse relationship with the metals, with crypto, and with stocks. So if I get confidence that the dollar is weakening, I'm going to long the metals, maybe some miners, and some crypto. But without that confidence, I'm going to remain very patient. And I don't have that confidence right now. Oil testing daily EMA 12, which has held the last 5 tests. Anything above 79.90 is a daily higher low. So no red flags on oil, but just aware that we haven't consolidated in 6 weeks. And in that time, we've gone up 20% plus. So we know weekly consolidation will be inevitable eventually, so not getting too aggressive up at these levels. And natural gas trying to set the daily higher low off EMA 12. If we do, we'll watch for the potential of a tightening range, but burden is still on bulls to establish 270 as our new daily higher low. Saw this resistance. Oh man, still in play. Bulls really don't want to see this be a megaphone. Watch that resistance though. That's a bunch of touches of that uptrending resistance. All right, I didn't do a whole lot of trading today. I was traveling on the road, got back midday. But again, my focus this week is on the dollar and the inverse relationship with the sectors that have an inverse relationship. Amazon and Google are the leaders of QQQ Team Bull. Microsoft and Apple are the leaders of the bear side. And we're going to watch to see, do our bull names weaken and join the bears, or do the bear names strengthen and join the bulls? Appreciate you watching. Do good things.
Wait, Bobby, can you chug beer from up there? Like, can you?
You need a beer?
If I pour it into your mouth, will you be able to catch it, Captain?
Come on, baby.
Yeah, hold on.
Hey, good.